I think we can start in English or in Russian. Choose yourself.
Maybe there will be some more people that are going to join and they will use English only. So let's do it first in English and then we'll see how people are joining.
Okay, let's start in English. So, Ksenia, can we start?
Ksenia, you're on mute.
I think we can start. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, let's start. Welcome everybody to our session. It's a Lean Coffee format. Thank you for coming, join, and watching us through YouTube streaming. My name is Yulia. I'm coordinator of QA immunity in EPAM Grodno. I would like you to introduce what is a Lean Coffee format. If you don't know, what is it? Lean Coffee. Lean Coffee, it is an unofficial way of communication with your colleagues. But today we don't use a standard Lean Coffee format with one expert. Today we have a lot of experts. All of you are experts with excellent knowledge and experience. So you can easily try to help each other to find the right solution and right answer on right questions. Our session will be divided into two parts. The first part is working in group regarding the topic which you chose during registration. And the second part is working in a main room and discuss the most interesting questions which you were discussed in rooms. So let's have a look how the process will be going. Part one. First of all, you need to add a question, case, or situation on a board and describes your situation in few words to each other members. The second step is to vote for more interesting question and searching them and prioritize. Then start a discussion with the most interesting question, and after discussion you will vote again to keep discussion or to take other question. This iteration will be proceed with several questions, and in the end you will choose the most interesting case which you want like to introduce in main room on the second part of our session. And about the second part, so each group will introduce the most interesting question to each other. Describe what answers were received, what feedbacks were received, and if of each of you, if you can add something else, you can write a feedback in the chat and facilitator will read the feedback. And a few words about our facilitators today. They are Olga Andreeva, Vyacheslav Kovalyov, Artem Chorny, Andrei Dubovsky, and Artem Konovalov. So now I will give a few words to our facilitator to introduce themselves. Guys, who start?
I will start.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Olga. I'm lead QA engineer, and I'm located in Gomel. That's it.
Thank you, Ola.
Hello, I'm Andrei Dubrovsky. I'm working as a tester here in EPAM for 1 year in healthcare project. That's all.
Thank you, Andrei.
Hi everyone, my name is Vyacheslav and I'm a senior software testing engineer from Gomel. Nice to meet you all guys, and let's have a good time during the session.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vyacheslav.
Hello, everyone. My name is Artyom. I have been working at EPAM for 3 years as a senior software testing engineer, and I wish you to enjoy this session.
Thank you, Artyom.
Thank you.
Hi all, my name is Artyom. I'm from EPAM Grodno. I'm working as a software test engineer for 2 years, so glad to see you all. Let's fun.
Thank you, Artyom. Thank you guys so much. So let's proceed with our rules and tools. To make our session in a better way, please follow the next rules. Speak English, raise a hand if you have a question, mute your microphone if you are not involved in the discussion, respect others, keep the shadow, and please be active. And regarding the tools, session will be in Zoom, as you see. If you want to ask something, please raise a hand. There is a two-way how to raise a hand. You can use a shortcut, Alt+Y, or you can click on participation. List of participation will be opened, and below you can see option raise a hand. Now let's check if all of you can find this option. So please raise a hand, and I will see if all is okay. Okay, I see hands. Great, thank you guys. And the second tool is FunRetro. Please log into FunRetro using your registration name. Open a bot. Facilitator will share you a link in rooms. Add your question or case into a bot and wait for further instructions. That's all from my side about our process. If you have any question, please raise a hand. Oleg, do you have a question?
No, I am good.
Okay, I see there is no question. So working in groups will be last for 50 minutes. After this all, we will have a 5-minute coffee break, and then we'll proceed on the second part of our session. So at 3:40, we will start the second part. So now we'll be going to start first. Let's go and have a good luck.
Thank you.
Julia, I have a suggestion. We have not a lot of participants. Maybe it makes sense to stay everyone together and have some fun and discuss rather than move to different rooms and have only one participant and one instructor or facilitator.
What think other facilitators? Are you agree?
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Okay.
Makes
Let's
sense.
spend time together.
Okay.
So we have 5 topics.
Yeah, we can add here 2 more.
Yulia, can you please share the link to FunRetro
For
in
whose
the
bot?
chat?
1 second. I'm sharing.
Thank you.
Can we start?
Yes.
Okay, guys, right now I'm going to start a timer, and in this time you should write your ideas or questions or cases or statements in first column. after that, we will wait for these items. So if you're ready and don't mind. Yes.
One question,
Oleg?
Artem. Quick question. What topic we should use for writing questions? Any of three?
Yes, you can choose any of these topics. It doesn't affect anything. So,
okay.
Well, you're welcome and be free. Yes, timer is started. So begin to write your ideas. If you have questions, please raise hand or just write your question in the chat and we will answer. Everyone can see the topics we are going to discuss?
Yes.
Okay. Right now we have only 2 items. Guys, please be more active.
Okay.
Because we have only 3 minutes left. Oh. So we can see the process has been started and we have now a lot of questions and a lot of statements. Commonly the questions. Okay. Who has already finished writing their questions? You can just read and to be aware of written questions. So.
Okay.
I can see that questions are shared between all 3 topics. It could be tricky. One minute left. And hurry up. I also would like to remind you, after timer has been finished, we will wait for all these questions, and you can left 3 voices for each question, or maybe share your voices between the questions, and it will help us to understand which questions should go to discuss column. So we don't have time, and it means this stage has been finished. Right now, I'm going to start a new timer in 10 minutes, and in this stage, we will go through all the questions where you should give us more details about your question and to understand which problem you are going to discuss. So right now, I'm starting this stage, and we will start from Yulia, I think.
Okay, as my question is the first, STQB certification, is it really needed for professional growth or not? And how it can be help and how it can help you to for onboarding process on new project?
Okay, thank you. Next question is mine. Here I'm going to understand which directions can help us to grow in our profession, in our specialization, and that is, yes. Who is next?
I think my turn is next. In my questions that I would like to raise is how actually to evaluate test coverage on your project. There are a lot of approach. For example, you can calculate by rows of code, automated, or by test cases. But how we can actually estimate what real coverage is in our project? So I would like to raise this question, how it's better to do.
Okay. Oleg, your turn.
Hi all. Yes, so I would like to discuss topic about documentation which should be prepared at the beginning of the project. Also, I would like to discuss, maybe get some other experience about level and detailization of test document, because sometimes at the beginning of a project, tester or QA team doesn't have a lot of time to prepare a lot of testing documentation, which could be useful in the future.
Okay, and could you please say what topic exactly is important for your question?
So it is related to second topic, what is needed for QA testers on project.
Got it, thank you. So next one is Olga.
Yes, so my question is about what are the instruments that QA engineer can use for his professional growth, whether it's going to be an EPAM instrument or somewhere in the internet or in courses, online or offline. So what would you suggest for me as a QA engineer and for your colleagues to grow professionally? That's it.
Okay, thank you. Andrei?
Yeah, hello. So I put here 2 questions, and they are connected with the beginning of the project, and also my question is, as I can see, is connected with Oleg's question. So the first one is, what problems do testers face at the initial stage of the project? And the second one, we can see it below. what activities of the primary importance for the tester at the initial stage? For me, as a beginner in this sphere, these questions are quite interesting.
Okay, thank you. And Andrei, if you don't mind, I merge these questions, your one and Alex one.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, Yulia,
Next is
bring.
mine. I think it is the same question as Olga raised. It's also related to self-education. What articles or what courses maybe someone passed and know interesting something, information about self-studying.
We can merge them.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Alexei, are you here?
Hey, yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah. Hi. Okay, so this is my question. Yeah, basically I'd like to discuss if this is obligatory or not per your opinion, because sometimes I hear that strategy and test plan is not obligatory. We can handle without these main artifacts. And I'd like to hear your experience, your opinions, and especially when there is, that the project is a short term, what should we do? Should we spend time on these artifacts, or should we somehow continue, or we should prepare some basic just some basis maybe regarding these artifacts, just some points, maybe that's all, and we can continue working on the project without good description maybe, or comprehensive description. Well, that's it. Okay,
Thank you. It is very interesting question for me. So I hope it will go to next column. Okay, Andrei, your turn.
Yes. Oh,
about activities question.
Yeah, about activities. This question is on the same field. What exactly? What activities? What should we do at the first stage of the project? What things are important for a team or for a test lead during the beginning of the project?
Okay.
I think we can also add this question to the fourth. Yeah, to the fourth one.
Maybe let it be once, and because I think there is difference between them. So if you don't mind, Alexei, once again.
Oh, okay. So this is a question, just a general one. For me, it's really interesting how this process is done on your project, or how do you handle this process? What you mean here? For example, in our on our project, we have we are using Jira, so we are using dashboards there with different filters, and it's shared with all the teams. So basically, there are different filters put in widgets, and so our people, our key members, see the task they are assigned to, see the tasks that are coming, and will be resolved soon. So I'd like to have some maybe idea what's happening on your projects, and how do you process all this, workflow. If you speak about Jira, how you process bugs? Do your teammates know that this task will come to him, or he just finishing their task and coming to you asking, hey, can you give me something? So I'd like to speak about these processes that are done on the projects.
Yeah, this process can be different from project to project, and you just want to see more examples from others and to get experience of people who are here.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Got it. Okay, who is next? Artyom.
Hello. Yeah, my question is related to about topic manual versus automation. Do we really need automation testing on our projects? If yes, when we should start it? And also, I think it will be more important in for projects that are short-termed.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Alexei, your top question maker. So give us more details.
Yeah, okay. So
Go
this
ahead.
is one. About artifacts, yeah, I already mentioned about test plan strategy, etc. So this is more complex, probably, question regarding do you have some conference pages that covers knowledge transfer plans? Do you have some pages regarding, I don't know, setups, deploys, all this stuff? Do you have pages? Do you have metrics that are used on your project? Which metrics do you use, and how do you configure them? Where do you take them? So basically, and how often do you use all these artifacts? And how many artifacts do you have on the project? Probably something like this. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. And what do you think? Can we merge these questions with Alex's question? It is fourth in this list.
Well, yeah, let's try. Yeah.
There is difference, but Oleg is concentrated on initial stage of the project, and you meant all life cycle of the project. So I think we can merge these questions. We can do that. So for some reason, yeah, got it. So we are in time, and it's nice. So next stage is voting, and as you can see, someone has already started to vote, and but now we have official 10 minutes to leave your voice, and then I will prioritize these questions in the second column. I'm starting.
I think
our
10 minutes
countdown.
is too many.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you.
Yeah. Let's reduce to 3-4 now, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Because too many voices are already
3
given.
is enough. A lot of votes are already given.
Okay, countdown started. So.
Artyom, I would like to ask you about number of likes. So
yeah, I can tell.
How many likes one person can give?
Can give 3 voices as per item, and for all of them, and share all voices for each item. So you have 3 voices to do that.
Okay, thank you.
And what is the minimal passing rate? So how many voices should you have to pass to discuss?
We will take into account higher voices, higher scores, and maybe we will exclude the questions with lower numbers. For example, starting from 2, maybe. At least we need to have maybe 3 questions in second column. So that is. 1 minute left. If somebody has questions, please write in Zoom chat or raise your hand and we will answer to your question.
I see no questions.
It's great. 10 seconds. So you have waited for the questions, and right now I'm just move them to the second column. And right now the situation looks like that. Maybe we can take more questions. How do you think, guys?
I would add one more.
One or two more, yeah.
Okay. So, okay, we have selected the questions which we are going to discuss, and right now I put the first questions to the next column, and we will start our discussion. I'm going to remind you that we have 8 minutes for first round, and be free and don't hesitate to discuss the question. I'm putting it here and start countdown. It started. Please start your discussion. Who wants to start? Maybe somebody has ideas related to this topic, to this question. It's pretty difficult question because it has been merged from three ones, but let's see.
Has anybody have any experience in studying project from scratch? I have only experience in starting in a new team, but the project was too old. But the old processes were new.
I have an experience of beginning a new project as one tester at the project, and I can say that it was quite a difficult, maybe months and a half. At the first stage, when you have to do everything by yourself, and there are no other testers, and all people are new on the project, so you can only discuss all your questions with project manager and with developers, but no one exactly knows many things about project before investigation and working with requirements, with documentation. So it was quite difficult.
Alex, I think that we should not be focused only to point regarding beginning of the project, because let's say some problems, right, could be defined only in the middle of the project, but these problems were also at the beginning, but we didn't have time to take a look on them. That's why maybe we found them only in the middle. So I think we can discuss there also some routine problems, basic problems, which test team has during whole life of a project. Because, for example, from my point of view, if speak about problems, maybe it is more critical for beginning of a project, but the same situation could be in the middle at the end of the project. It is lack of the knowledge regarding application, right? Because sometimes there could be cases when QA team starting involvement not at the right beginning of a product. So QA team involved into project at the middle and sometimes project have some version, maybe it could be initial version or some production version of the application, but there are no any documentation, right, which could be useful for testers. There are some high-level requirements, for example, from customer. I need this, and based on this, developers implemented these. But when testers, let's say, start test it, work with this application, they start ask a lot of questions, and this problem is about lack of information. And there is another question, how it can be resolved.
Yeah. And do you have an experience how you have resolved such problem?
Oh, from my experience, I think the most useful approach is to do, let's say, some type of exploratory testing, right? So someone from tester team or maybe project manager could ask customers to provide latest or some stable version of application for testers team. After this, we can do planning of exploratory testing. So when all team involved into exploratory of features of some interesting points related to application. Also, during this activity, we can put all findings, maybe main workflow of application into some type of checklist, maybe user cases documentation. And I think it will be good base for other type of test documentation, like test cases, some base for bug reports, so in case if we have some workflow of functionality which worked in stable version provided by customer, but after some changes from development side, we got new version where this functionality was broken or started work in another way. So in this case, we will have some base, we will have some documents, which will be helpful.
Okay, I see it. And I have extra question here. If we write in test plan or test strategy that we are going to use exploratory testing, what detailization should be here under exploratory testing section? What should we write? Maybe.
First of all, from my point of view, it would be good to provide some situation which we have now, that currently there are no any test documentation, and there is no maybe some product owners, people from product side or business analysts who can do it. That's why we need to gather current situation of application, and the best way will be exploratory testing, because during this time we will gather and let's say put into documents current situation of the application, current workflow of the application, and based on this we can apply other testing approaches when we will start work with the development team, with other teams. Also, yes, initial activity of exploratory testing could be useful to find some new or tricky bugs which were not found by previous team or by development team, and in some cases it could be some critical bugs issues. So it is also source of bugs.
Okay, thank you. Guys, we have already took a lot of time and extra time, and I'm going to start a second round because I think we didn't cover this question. Don't you mind?
Yeah, I agree.
So second round will take 4 minutes, and let's proceed our discussion. Maybe somebody wants to share his or her experience, your experience. Alexei?
Okay, so are we speaking about the start of the project, or are we just going further?
As you wish. We can change our direction of discussion, maybe, or we can proceed previous topic.
Okay, I'd like to have some notes, some point maybe. As we know, sometimes we are finding bugs, yeah?
Yes.
Who is responsible? Who should we blame in that situation? Do you have an answer? Okay.
Whole team.
Yeah, that's right question, but not correct. We shouldn't blame anyone, to be honest. But if we are we are finding bugs, that is the pain for a developer, because he doesn't write unit tests, he doesn't cover his code by tests. That's his responsibility, by the way. And a good idea, if you have some metrics, to cover metrics by unit test coverage based on Sonar, for example, etc. And this is show. So with this metric, you can go to your manager and say, hey, do you see we have only 10% unit test coverage? And if it's a good manager, he will think that, yeah, it's not a good idea, and let's maybe change a bit the strategy we have. We should have code review. We should maybe connect Gerrit. That's, if I'm not mistaken, it's an automated tool that when you push a commit or making a commit, it's making a test review, code review, assign team members, etc. So if you find, so as a summary, if you find a lot of bugs, let's think that we should change something and start it with developers. Then we should turn to us. And yeah, we are saying that the team is responsible, etc. That's correct. But if to go deeper, we need to understand the root cause, basically. Not saying just, okay, the team is responsible, but what should we do, etc. So that's my idea regarding the project. And one more question regarding, I believe, to Andrei, maybe, because you said that you started the project. I mean, you came to the project that just started. I'd like to understand what you usually do when you're joining a new project. You have some little documentation, maybe. What you do in the first 3 weeks, for example. Yeah, I've heard about, from Oleg, I believe, that they're starting a regression, exploratory, putting some bugs, etc. But what can we do with some artifacts? Maybe should we prepare some statistics? Do you do that on the projects? So how can we show that? Yeah, this is something that I don't know, not cool, maybe, or maybe very cool, so we can proceed. So there are no bugs, we can proceed. There are bugs, we can't proceed. How you collect the data, etc.
Okay, do you have any idea how to answer this question? Or maybe someone else says, yes, Vyacheslav, go ahead.
I think that when you start a new project, yeah, it's a good idea to, when you have some time to prepare and think about possible metrics that can be useful for you in future. You can start think about group of metrics and discuss with the team, discuss with management, Scrum Master or some other project manager, and prepare everything, for example, dashboards and so on, and start collect them and start review and update them. Also, I think when you start a new project, it would be nice to think about possible test strategies that you are going to follow. I'm talking about not only creating a document that describes the strategy, but it includes these activities too. But in general, about strategy, how are you going to test your product? You have some requirements in the very beginning. You have some information in a way. You know maybe in general what are you going to do. So you can, based on your knowledge, based on your experience, to predict some possible testing types. You can collect information. How are you going to deliver your product, by parts or fully after some time? So you can start think about automation, whether it's needed or not. As earlier you start automation, it would bring you more benefits in future, I would say. So such questions you should think and maybe prepare some information somewhere in Confluence or other wiki pages.
Can I have additional question?
Sorry, Alexei, I just set another round because previous one has left. This round will take 2 minutes, and it starts right now. So your question?
Yeah, my question, yeah, speaking about automation, for example, if you decided to cover something, what if we said, yeah, we need automation, guys pay for automation guy, we are hiring, and then we fail. We understand that he has some, not good experience, or we said we will deliver, we'll cover some amount of cases for during the month, for example, and we fail. We understand we did nothing. Time is spent, money is spent. What should we do in this situation?
When we have results that is failed?
Not basically.
Or in the very beginning, how to prevent such?
Yeah, more likely how to prevent, such failed cases.
Based on my experience in testing, I think that good automation is the automation when all team understands why it's needed. And everyone, not only automation engineers, contribute in it. It's work, close cooperation, manual QAs and automation guys. because manual case should, in most cases, know the product well, right? How it works. And they can help automation guys to cover most critical scenarios. I think that no need to cover everything. Automation should focus on coverage, on covering first of all test cases for regression and other stuff that is repeated. What do you think, guys? But this is maybe a different topic for our discussion. We have moved to a different topic.
Sorry, guys, we don't have time. We will have next round, and it will take 1 minute. I see this discussion is pretty huge and
pretty hot.
Yes, pretty hot.
Colleagues, I would propose to take our third topic into discussing table, because currently we are touching it. So we are touching strategy and test plan. Yes, we are speaking about test automation, but again, so it is related to strategy and plan. So in this case, we can save some time. What do you think? Or 1 more minute for directly.
Do you want to start another topic just after it?
I would. So my proposition is to put strategy and test plan into discussing column additionally to our first, and start a new iteration with more time, because currently, yes, as previously said, that we are touching test plan and test strategy.
Yeah, good idea.
Maybe we don't need to
okay,
additional question. We can just finish this discussion, and maybe we will return to this question later. So don't be afraid of that. Where we have ended.
So about test automation and about
yes.
usefulness of this.
I'd like to share my opinion here, and you know, we have a lot of opportunities. For example, we can write codeless automation here, and we don't need test automation specialist necessarily. Also, second option is maybe functional tester can start writing or development of automated tests, and it will save costs on hiring additional test automation specialist. And I start countdown again. And guys, your thoughts here?
Okay, so I would like touch 2 points from Alexei's side. So if speak about automation, and yes, about not possibility, but about usefulness to take automation to your project, to project at the beginning, I think that first of all, it would be good to invite some good expert maybe to the project, or ask experts to do some type of consultation about possibility of usage automation on your project. Because yes, in case if you, let's say, take junior automation engineer or middle automation engineer who few months ago was junior, so in this case, yes, you have high risk that this activity will be failed, right? But in case if you ask help from expert side, which can came to project, take a look on current situation, technical stack of the application, and after this calculate some type of ROI or define plan. So in this case, we can, let's say, mitigate this risk, right? So after this, so for example, we have some points. Okay, to start automation on this project, you should do this. You speak about coverage of functionality, maybe part of the application. So you should start from this. So usually it is some services, so on and so forth. And only after this, you can touch, for example, UI part of the application. So in this case, I think it will be more systematic way to include automation into the project. And yes, and second point about a lot of bugs and about blaming dev team. So I like position of Artyom that we are all team, and also sometimes it is not maybe problem of developers or testers, because sometimes root cause of some issues starts from, let's say, requirement, from requirements, from some high level understanding of the application. Because
sorry, isn't BA here responsible for this? And we should blame BA specialist.
I didn't say that. I say that closer communication with each part of team could resolve them. And in case if such type, there is no such type of communication, so all responsible for this, and we should blame not BA, dev, QA, so on. We should blame all team because this team doesn't have good communication.
I would say we shouldn't blame anyone, and we should blame the situation. So I think if we start working in close cooperation, we can reach great results. That's my position.
But we should discuss why we have this bug, how what we should do to avoid such situations on our project.
Yes, root cause analysis. So guys, unfortunately, we don't have time to proceed discussing this question. And right now, I would like to ask you to send a plus sign in Zoom chat to understand. Do we need to move to the next question, or I want to see any feedback?
Okay.
So you think we can move this question to the next column discussed, or maybe we can turn it to previous column to discuss and to return to discussion later? How do you think?
Maybe to discussed column.
Here?
No, to discussed.
Oh, okay. See, got it. So the next question is this one, and author is Olga. I'm starting countdown right now. I remind you, we have 8 minutes to start discussion and to finish this process.
Okay, so let's start from me. As the question states, what are the instruments that QA can use for his professional growth? I would say that during my career, I used different instruments, and EPAM provides us a great availability of resources where we can learn new things. So we do have different courses, and we have this tool courses, epam.com, where you can find anything available. And it's interesting for you, submit for this course and wait when it's going to start. We have tool like learnepam.com as well, where you can find other interesting things. We have different courses like CDP or whatever it is called right now. We have free prescription based on our EPAM account to Linda courses on yeah, probably you on Telescope, right? Probably you've heard about that. So, and you can definitely surf the internet. I still use it when I have an open question. I can Google what is interested and can find different answers. The only problem that these answers, you don't know who are the authors of them, and if you just go through them, there might be a wrong answer. You should take this into account. So better to use several sources of truth to find the proper answer to yourself. So yeah, I just wanted to share this with you, what I used, and maybe someone else can add. We have QA communities in EPAM as well, where you can meet professionals as we do today, and we can discuss everything possible, and everyone can participate in these communities as drivers or as speakers or as just listeners, and also proceed with your professional growth. So anyone can share his thoughts or additions you can add to the item.
Guys, let's participate together and maybe post in the chat the most popular source of information that each of us use for the professional growth. We can
Great idea.
paste one or top 3. How do you think it will be a good answer for our question?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to add few points. It is not related to some, let's say, resources. It is more related to approach of professional development and growth. Because okay, I agree. I fully agree with points provided by Olga. Because yes, good structured information provided via some webinars, posts, or books, it is awesome. But it is only theoretical knowledge, and sometimes, I think not that sometimes, but almost in all cases, knowledge of theoretical part is not enough to, let's say, to grow or to use it. So without practical experience, some part of knowledge, so let's say, could be missed, right? Or let's say will be stolen during some times. It is why I think that another good approach to, let's say, get new knowledge or new experience, it is interesting tasks, some difficult or interesting project, or some challenges, right? And when you, let's say, accept challenge, yes, and you see area where you should proceed, so after this, so you start to research this area, so this topic, and yes, you can use a lot of resources. Yes, as previously mentioned, EPAM has a lot of interesting, useful resources to get information about some area. But yes, it is additional point. But first, it is, let's say, motivation or point which gives ability to person start to grow. It is some interesting tasks, right? And it is not about that, okay, you should always ask your lead or ask your resource manager to give you some interesting topics or project. It is about that you should be ready to find or take them at any time, and it is not some bad thing. It will help you to grow also professionally.
Okay, great idea. So maybe someone else wants to share his experience. Evgenia, Tatiana, Alexei. Nobody?
Yeah, I have one. Okay, Alex said that we need to have some practical experience. That is right, but what to do if we have only theoretical knowledge and we don't have practical experience due to the project you are in? What should we do? How can we get practical experience, interesting tasks, etc.?
Find good mentor.
Okay.
Or ask someone from your colleagues to give you some interesting task. Maybe it will not be related to the project. Maybe it is, let's say, not theoretical part, but some interesting task outside projects. Again, yes, for example, Olga previously mentioned about some meetups, topics in scope of some community. Yes, it is also experience. It is also some new knowledge. For example, if you have some interesting topic from your previous experience or project, and you come to community to share it with some audience, and you start preparing it, so you for example, you start to research some additional points to point to experience which you had previously, and you also got new knowledge, new experience, some underwater stones which were not defined previously when you were involved into this.
Guys, I would say that I restart countdown, and right now we have second round with 4 minutes. Also, we can participate open source project, for example, where we can gain new experience, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes.
And let's try to understand what is the best based on our card. What you think?
You know, there is no best card. All experience is good, and when you have gained some experience, then you can compare such experiences, and you can select the best way for you. There is no golden solution, you know.
No, I mean, what is the best, like conferences or self-studying, or I don't know, EPAM video portal?
It depends on people, you know.
Yes. Let's say that first of all, you should have good base in area where you specified, right? And in case of this, for example, if you are going to start your career in some specialization or IT, first of all, you should get good base. And from my point of view, so in this case, it would be good to read some, let's say, book, right? You can find it via the internet, based on some feedbacks from others, so on and so forth. It will help you to understand is it your area where you go and spend time in the future? After this, I think you should try to find some, let's say, courses where you can get base knowledge about this area. And when you are in this area, in this specialization, so there you can use different approaches provided previously. It depends on person, because someone, let's say, have good ability to get theoretical knowledge quicker than other, and he can apply it on his practical experience or on his task. But sometimes there could be person which is grow good and fast when get some difficult task or challenges.
Can I raise a question? Okay, we spoke about books. Yeah, that's cool. But can you advise top 3 books per your mind to a junior software testing engineer? Or a person who is trying to go into software testing engineer area? Top 3 books.
Is it a question for Oleg or for everyone?
I think for all of us.
Yeah. Maybe we are thinking about the same books. I don't know.
Savin?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Savin, Kulikov.
Is an icon for testers.
Bible.
It's a god, yeah.
Did everyone read it?
Yes.
long time ago. I don't know, about 7 years ago. but you know about, about Savin, about Kulikov. So sometimes I see that these books are really good, but some points from these books are not so, let's say, applicable for current situation in the IT. That's why additionally to books, sometimes you should go through some forums, Stack Overflow, I don't know, Hubber, and read some posts about current situation, because IT is, let's say, pretty modern and area where everything changes fast. Yep. And if you don't take it into account, so sometimes it is not so good to just recon boot and say, okay, I understand all in this area and I'm ready.
But I believe Savin, by the way, the best book to start with, because it's written in simple language and you can understand just basic idea.
Yep.
My personal opinion that the book is a bit of outdated way. I don't know why, because as you mentioned, Oleg, it can include some outdated information. Moreover, it can include some unnecessary information that you can face in reality.
But
on the other hand, it's basic of testing. If we are talking about some basic principles that are not changed.
Yes.
So it's like 2 minds here, 2 options here.
Also, it depends on quality of the book. I think the books is a place where all information is well structured, and yes, but it differs from book to book.
Because sometimes you can just watch 30 minutes video and it can replace the book that you can spend for it, for example, 1-2 days or maybe more.
Yeah,
So,
I
but
think I get.
in our real world, it's too much to spend so
Yes.
long time for one book, I think.
I can calculate my speed of reading books in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months,
Yeah.
and etc.
Uh, f- uh, I can share my own opinion that participating in conferences, like just participant, not speaker, it's very good way to increase your knowledge, increase your expertise, because you can meet a lot of people from different projects, from different companies. You can get their own gained knowledge, own experience, and a lot of interesting hints that can help you in your work. So, and you yeah, sometimes it's difficult to participate in all
Mhm.
talks, but for this limited period of time you significantly increase your knowledge, I think, like for example this conference, because it is.
Yes. Again, so you can meet people who involved into some competency, into area, and you can ask interesting for your point of view questions, get some answers, and then define is it really interesting for you or not, right? So it is not about that, okay, I'm, for example, in quality assurance, and yes, now I'm ready to ask some questions to my colleagues. No, you can also participate on conferences when you are not involved into some area but would like to know more about it. Yes, and I think that conference, it is also a good place to do this.
Okay, thank you, Oleg, for your opinion. So, guys, we have finished according to our countdown. We have finished all 4 rounds, and right now we need to understand have we discussed this question or not. Please write plus minus signs into the chat. Oh, great. Cool. So I can move this question to discussed column, and it means that we have discussed this, but unfortunately I can do it. Do that right now. What's wrong? Oh,
Maybe try to
yeah.
update. Oh, great.
Yes, it is. The next question. Help me, please. Somebody. I just reload. Oh, okay. It's magic happens here. So, Alexei, provide some thoughts, or we can start immediately.
Not thoughts, but you can start, but after my question, okay? I have a little question. Did you see, I believe you have some experience on different projects. Did you see test strategy and test plan on each and every project you joined or not? And you can continue. I'm really interested in that.
In our project, this document exists, and we try to follow this these documents, but it doesn't work always. I think it depends on separate QAs, and if somebody takes such things into account, it will work. But in from another hand, if somebody misses such points or such instructions, it will not work. So Maybe somebody has another experience.
May I ask one questions for everyone regarding this?
Yeah.
Does anybody notice such situation that test strategy or test plan document appears in case if someone is going to pass assessment?
Yeah, that's right. To be honest, yeah. Sometimes people are forgetting about these documents and only, yeah, you have to prepare. Let's go. How it's written? Let's prepare. Yeah.
Because I think that it's very common case, I don't know, that I see for my teammates from other projects that they start to create such document when they are going to assessment. But in fact, it doesn't mean that their team doesn't have the strategy at all. They for sure has it, but not written.
I have another experience. On my previous project, every team was responsible for delivering a particular project. We had a separate project or feature, it doesn't matter how we call it. And we were responsible for delivering it entirely. And from the early beginning, when we joined this project, we saw that every team has its own test strategy, test plan created and documented. It was like a conference page with details, what we're going to test, which environments we're going to use, which browsers, etc. And it was like, maybe it's not ideal, not EPAM based template, but it was the full description of the project and the details from test perspective. And as it was created before we joined, I don't know when was who was the original author or who provided this idea, but I think it's rather good. At least you will have the experience of creating some kind of test plan or test strategy, even not being added to the assessment or assigned to the assessment session. And it really doesn't take a lot of time. As soon as you have it created one time, the next time you will just need to update it, update some fields, and that's it. So it doesn't take a lot of time for updating it, even if you move from one project or one feature to another one.
You're talking about test plan, not test strategy, right?
Test plan, and it's includes a strategy inside, as far as I remember.
Did it really help you?
It definitely helped. Probably Tatiana can share her thoughts, but as far as I know, it definitely helped to store whatever we plan to do and to make sure that we followed this checklist and not to forget everything. So it was like a checklist for test lead or tester, if you are the only one, to make sure that during the testing of this release, we cover everything, and that's it.
And what, guys, any questions?
They have question?
Yeah, I have a question about format that is better to use for such document. If you're talking about document, what's the best way to create it? To store it somewhere in Confluence, or should it be some Word document? What do you think?
In my mind, it should store on shared in share place, because we need to allow all the teammates to access this document, to read, to understand, to maybe for addition should be able only for leads, but to access this document, we need to store it in share place, maybe Confluence or Git repository. So
I participated in one training about test plan or test strategy creation, and one of question was, do we really need it in case if we, for example, working on in Scrum environment, Agile, because everything is changed rapidly and so on. and there is also Agile manifest that says that we don't need a lot of documentation and so on. And also, trainer answered to this question very professionally. And I totally agree with it that if you see that this document works for you and it is used by your teammates, you should probably have it. But if you just create for creation, you don't need it. If everything works for you and you see that you don't need it, no need to create it, just to have it. But if you create it and try to do things that started to work for you.
Okay, from my side, so at another Lean Coffee, I was involved into discussion related to the strategy test plan, and we agreed that there are no any successful project without test plan, test strategy at any type. So it could be documentation, it could be some checklist or discussed points with customer, right? Because I think that let's say test team which knows that, for example, after a build deployment, they should run smoke, then they should do, let's say, new feature testing or functional testing. So at the end of some iteration or before release, they should run regression testing. Maybe it could be split on automation and manual parts. So it is already the strategy, right? So you know workflow, you know test approaches are used on your project, right? And so it is not about, let's say, format of these documents. It is about process which is known by all team participants, right? And format, it is about points. So yes, it could be informal case and it could be formal. And in this case, so yes, you should take a look on way which is more applicable for your project, for your customer, right? Because, for example, from my experience, I had cases when I just have some workflow in Jira, how testers team should, let's say, should process or operate in scope of big team. So it was not classical type of test plan or test strategy. At another project, I had experience when we prepared well-structured, detailed documentation related to test strategy, test plan, and we had a lot of review sessions with customers before we sign off this. So it depends. So I tried to guess answer from trainer when Vyacheslav discussed about some meetup or lesson about so test plan, test strategy. So answer was it depends, but no. So about type of test strategy, test plan. So I think there are no any test teams in green stage which don't have test strategy.
Yeah, I wanted to say that test strategy as a document, but yeah, it's for sure each product has test strategy itself. They cannot have a separate document for example, one file where you can see everything. But yeah, each team has test strategy anyway, because they do something, right?
Yep.
They follow some processes, so that's why they have some strategy.
I hope that they don't do something from the morning till evening.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yes, and also speak about test plan in case if your team, so it could be not only QA team, it could be whole team, has some schedule, right, with timelines, with deadlines. So it is also some type, not so detailed, but some type of test plan, right? So you know where you should start, where you should end your activity.
Where is zone of responsibility?
Right, yes. Backlog or Jira tickets also could be useful in this case.
Yes. And I think to know that it's very important that the strategy and test plan should be editable within time, and it need to understand this.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yes, it is not static document or process, right? Because yes, after some time, so strategy defined at initial state could be outdated. For example, from previous topics we discussed automation, for example, we decide to include automation engineers to our team. So in this case, we also should rework our test strategy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I have missed chat. We have passed 2 rounds, and how do you think? Can we wait about the state of this question right now, or we need one more round?
Maybe let's vote.
So I write. Sorry. Oh, please stop. We need just formalize this and question 1 round. Please put your answers once again in the chat. Okay. Almost all the people has voted that we have discussed this. All of you are satisfied. Alexei, do you satisfy? Are you satisfied about answers?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, thank you.
Great. So we don't have more time to discuss the last one question, and right now, according to the process, we need to understand which of these 3 questions is top to your mind and personally to you, and chosen question will be the result of our session today. So I want to ask you to leave in the Zoom chat the number of the question, which is most likable for you. And okay, first one, because I think it was very big question, and we had a lot of ways to discuss this.
Why waste? Spent.
Tiana, please. Okay, see. Julia. Please help me.
I
All
think
of you have
voted.
voted?
Yep.
Yeah, great. So, and in this case, we have first one question is top one, right?
Yes, right.
Okay, we dealt with it. So,
Great.
right now, Julia.
I will share my screen for a second. Guys, thank you all for participation. Thank you
Julia,
for.
we can see only you. If you are showing the presentation, we don't see it.
Oh, thank you. I will try to fix it. So do you see now?
Yep.
Guys, do you see?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, something wrong with my microphone. So thank you for coming. Thank you for participation and for your interesting question. Raised questions and board will be shared. And you also can ask other question on QAZ page on Community Z, and please spend few minutes and vote for our session. So that's all from my side. I would like you to enjoy this time and to have positive emotions.
Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues.
And you.
It was
you.
interesting to discuss points with you. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and have a
Bye
good
bye.
Thank you,
rest of the
bye.
day and weekend. Bye bye.
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, and you.
So goodbye.